Hi everyone, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
So let's wait for 10 minutes, then we can start the session.
Nothing to begin. ଗାଡି ଲେଟ୍ ବର୍ଷା ହେଇଯିବ 8ଟା ବେଳକୁ 8:15 କୋଡିଏ ମୁଁ ଆସିବି ନା କମ ଯାଅ ସମସ୍ତେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ସେ କେବେ କଷ୍ଟର ନାହିଁ ଆଗେ ଛୁଟି ସେ ହିଁ କରି କି ପାଇଁ କାମ ସେମିତି କରିଥିବ ମାମି କହିଲେ ଏଟା ସବୁ ମନେ ପଡି ଯାଉଥିବ ଏଟା କରିବାର ଅଛି ଏଟା କରିବାର ଅଛି ବୋଲି ଭାଙ୍ଗ ପଡି ଯାଉଥିବ ସବୁ ଆସିଲା ପରେ ଗାଡି ଆସିଲେ କଲା ହବ କି ନା
Okay, so let's start the session. I'm not able to share my screen. Actually, there are some technical issues with the Zoom. So I'm trying to connect with the admin team regarding this. It's happening since afternoon. So let's see how they will fix it. Meanwhile, you can let me know if you have any doubts, anything. Koi doubt? In case you don't have any doubt, then I will ask the question randomly. Am I audible? आवाज आ रही है मेरी? Hello, hello.
आ रही है सर, आ रही
आ रही है ना? Any doubts you have from the previous classes? No. Let me call the admin team again. Can someone of you try to share the screen? Maybe you are able to. It is disabled for me.
यस सर, आई कैन ट्राई.
Yeah. Nobody is picking up the call from the admin section. Even site was also down in the afternoon when I was taking the Azure session.
सर एक्चुअली इट इज डिसेबल्ड.
It is disabled. Even I am also not able to share it. Claim host.
It is showing us host has disabled the sharing.
Yeah, that's also disabled for me because it is asking for password, the OTP of the Zoom, and nobody is picking up the call. Actually, the person who receives the OTP, that person is not picking up the call. I tried many a times. Even I am trying since 7:45. Uh, what's the problem? Just give me one moment. Let me call another. Guys, actually there is a problem on the Zoom. I just discussed with the admin team and they asked me that in case the OTP is not coming actually for login since afternoon. So in case the OTP does not come in 10 minutes, then we have to stop the session for today. This is very tragic. And one more thing, I just got the update on call right now that some of the payments from you guys are pending. So admin team has told me that from the next week, if you will not submit the payment, then your classes may be hold from next week, not for tomorrow. You may have the time, but let's wait for 10 minutes. Let me check if they have received the SMS. Otherwise, we have to wrap up the session for today and we can do it tomorrow then. I will have to take some extra session if that does not work. Okay,
Okay, sir.
let's wait for 10 minutes. If the OTP successfully comes, then we can continue. Otherwise, I will update you. Yes, Seth, you want to ask anything?
Yes, sir. Sir, in case OTP doesn't come,
Mhm.
so can we keep a half an hour or something like that for general discussion?
Yes, you can if you want. You can
सर
ask the
कोर्स अभी
questions.
कितने महीने अभी बचे हुए हैं?
Course will get finished by I guess July.
Okay.
We started on March, March, April, May, June. Okay, first week of July it may get ended.
Okay.
Like we will complete our Linux in this month only. In this April month, we will complete all our required Linux, including servers. Then I will start the AWS from next month. Like in May, I will start the AWS, and AWS would take around 10 sessions. So it will get finished by April, May, then June, mid of June. Once it is finished, then we will start our Windows Server administration session. Windows Server administration session would take around 5 to 6 classes. So you can expect it to be closed by June. So June, mid of June, you can expect it to be completed. Then we will start our Terraform. So Terraform is going to take again 6 to 7 session. Then we will do our interview preparation and done. That's it. So this month we will complete our Linux.
Okay. Sir,
Okay.
we can also learn uh, scripting in Python. मतलब YouTube वीडियो से सर अगर देखना चाहे तो देख सकते हो ना?
Don't
So,
stress yourself so much because you know you are already you are doing Linux, you will do Windows Server, then you will do AWS, then you will do Terraform. So if you will stuck with the Python, so again that is going to create a kiosk. So do one thing, let the course finish, let apply for the job. Then after gradually you can learn the Python, Bash scripting and Shell scripting, because after this session you will get the job. So don't worry about the Python. You can learn it gradually because it will take around 3 to 4 months. If you learn the Python script in a good manner along with the Bash or Shell scripting, so it would take 3 months. because if you have some programming background, then that's okay. Then you would be able to complete it within 1 month. But if you don't have any programming background, suppose you are normal graduate, you don't know anything about programming, so expect that it is going to take around 3 months very easily. So don't worry, that will not be required. See, in order to get the job in AWS administration, if you have the Terraform knowledge, so Terraform is all about automation. So if you know Terraform, then Python is not going to impact you. So Terraform is itself a very, you can say, preferred tool by the organization. So if you have that knowledge, that would be very good for you even. So Python can be learned in the later stage if you want to grow in the DevOps. Suppose you are planning to get into DevOps, then Python would be required. If you want to stick with the cloud administration role, then Python does not hold that much importance. For DevOps, it is required. Like, again, Python is not only the language, you can have the command on any language. You can learn C, Java, whatever suits you. You should have the knowledge of any one programming knowledge, and that should not be onto expert level. You should have the fundamental knowledge, like how the syntax works, how the module works, how the array works. So these kind of structure, like you should be in a position to understand the code, like how the code is written. You don't have to do any programming. So that is for DevOps profile only. For
Yes,
cloud
yes.
administration job, coding is not required, programming is not required. So if you know Terraform, that is going to open the door for you for multiple jobs. Otherwise, if you don't know Terraform as well, then again you will get the job, but that may be very limited. So that's the reason we have included Terraform in this AWS. In Azure, it is not required. In Azure, we have not included Terraform because in Azure, there is a different curriculum. So candidates get the job after doing Azure, after doing Windows Server Administration, they get the job. But in AWS, we had included Terraform because there are a lot of AWS certified people in the market. Everyone is AWS nowadays. Someone is doing from Udemy, someone is doing from YouTube, someone is doing from any other sources. Even certification, they are obtaining the certification from different sources. There are Jugaad kind of thing in the market. So including Terraform increase the chances for the job because every company is demanding automation, IAC. So that's the reason we have customized this. Otherwise, if I will directly start with the AWS, so I would be able to complete this course within 2 months without Linux, without any Terraform and all. But that would be the course only. You will not get the job, to be very frank. This would be very difficult to get the job with only one skill, because cloud administrator in the company would be responsible for managing the entire cloud, like infrastructure as a service, the server which is hosted on the cloud platform. So server can be either Windows or it can be Linux server. So that's the reason we are learning Linux and Windows. Because yes.
Actually, I want to ask one question
Mhm.
that how many interviews they are going to provide us after this course? I mean,
How
from
many interviews?
yes, sir.
That
Minimum
I
actually.
have to discuss because I don't know actually.
Sir,
I
is
don't
this
have any
a
idea
job
about this.
guarantee program?
Yes.
This is a job guarantee. So means from that perspective, I am thinking like they will provide some number of interviews, minimum kind of.
I don't know. I will have to check. I will check with the admin, then I can tell you tomorrow about this because I don't have any idea about this, like how many interviews they are going to provide. For OJT, I have the idea, but for this AWS administration, I don't have any idea.
Because actually if they have the clients minimum actually 5, so that will be beneficial, na? Because after this course if we will go to find through Naukri, then that will be difficult for us.
Yes,
So
right. See,
for
they
that reason,
have ample clients because they are into market since 2012. So they have a lot of tie-ups. So don't worry about it. Even in OJT as well, they had a lot of tie-up, and the same recruiter is hiring for different companies. So they have the roles available for different cloud and DevOps profiles. So don't worry. But yes, for the interview concern, like how many interviews they are going to provide, I need to check with the admin. So I will check with them and I can clarify your doubt regarding this question. Okay.
Sir, it is a job guaranteed program, no?
Yes, that's a job oriented and job
Okay.
guaranteed program.
Thank you, sir.
That's the reason we have customized it actually. Otherwise, to complete the AWS, it does not take that much time. It only takes 10 classes. If you
Okay.
do it 3 hours regularly for 10 sessions, then you would be able to complete the AWS in a good manner. But that is not sufficient for the job. That's why we have included some additional parameters over here.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Same
Sir,
applies with the Azure as well. Same applies with the AWS as well.
Sir, after completing this course, we will be eligible for cloud support engineer, right?
There is no cloud support engineer job in the market actually. The role is cloud analyst, AWS administrator, cloud administrator, cloud engineer, then system administrator of cloud, senior cloud engineer. These are the job. There is no cloud support engineer job kind of designation in the market.
Sir,
Okay,
will
cloud is
the-
actually a technology, so it is not a support kind of job, just like your desktop support. So there is no support kind of profile. There is an admin kind of roles over here.
so sir, this is a totally different profile from desktop support.
That's a totally different. You will not be supporting any end user of the company. What you are doing right now, you are supporting the employees, right?
Yes,
Employee
sir.
face the problem, you go to them and you fix the issue. That's your job. In the cloud administration, you will be managing the technology. Technology in the sense, you will be handling the cloud portal. On the cloud portal, there will be servers. There will be servers of the company. There will be networking stuffs. There will be permissions. So you will be managing this kind of thing. There will be storage, web application, IIS servers. So if any deployment is required, if any troubleshooting is required, you will be working on the server level tickets. Like there will be P1, P2, this kind of tickets. It will not be that user is saying that I am not able to access the portal, because user does not work on the cloud. User work on their laptop and desktop. They work on their application.
Yes, sir.
So that's altogether different story. Here you will be working on the server platforms on the cloud that enables the user to work in the backend. So that kind of things you will be doing. Like company will ask you that deploy a server. We want to deploy a server. We want to set up the monitoring of all the servers, all the network devices. So that will happen through the cloud portal. Like storage account has to be created. If any of the IT team member is not able to access any server, a server is down, then you would be responsible for fixing that. If that is on cloud, if that is on premises, that is not your responsibility. But if anything is on AWS, then you will have to troubleshoot that.
सर AWS में भी हमें मतलब लाइक जो प्रोसेसेस होते हैं वो अलग अलग होते हैं, वॉइस चैट या टिकटिंग.
There is no voice actually. There is no chat. Here you will be working on the ticket. Ticket will be there. Ticket is there for every profile, whether you are into DevOps, cloud, whatever. So you will be working on the ticket, but that's not the end user ticket. That will be the ticket. Suppose the IT department, suppose there is a server down. So that's a P1 level of outage. So IT team is going to raise the ticket that there is a P1 outage, this particular server is not working, or this is the error. Then you will be working on those kind of tickets.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So
Initially you will start your job with the permissions. Initially they will, like for 1 or 2 months or 3 months, they will give you the permission kind of role. Like you have to give the permission on the server level to the users. User in the sense IT team member, not the end user. They don't access the server of company. So IT team members, you will have to give the permission through the IAM, identity and access management. Then they will ask you to attach the hard disk in the sense storage on the server.
सर AWS में हम सिर्फ एक सिंगल टेक्नोलॉजी पे काम करेंगे ना, लाइक डेस्कटॉप पे या सर्विस टेक्स्ट में हम सारे ही एप्लीकेशन यूज कर
Yes,
लेते हैं.
right. In AWS, you will be only working on the cloud.
Okay, sir.
So
सर इसमें
your
जो जॉब होता है
yes.
वो भी थर्ड पार्टी सेकंड पार्टी इसके थ्रू होता है?
No. There won't be any third party job in this profile. You will be getting the direct payroll jobs from the company.
Okay, sir.
Okay, there is no third party. Even in technology job, very rare company, like you can say 1 or 2% company publish the job on the third party. Otherwise, all the jobs are direct payroll with the company.
Okay, sir.
So here from the Evision, you will not be getting any third party job. You will be getting the direct payroll jobs with the company.
Okay, sir.
So it is not a desktop kind of job. In the desktop, your profile is very generic. Generic in the sense you are supporting everything. You are
Yeah,
supporting window, laptop, desktop, Outlook, printer, server and network, and you are doing everything. So
Yeah.
if you are into technology, whatever technology you pick, suppose you are in Intel, you are in AWS, you are in Azure, you are in virtualization. So you only support that technology. You will be the specialist, not the journalist. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, is
So desktop support में तो
Azure
बहुत
better
सारे
than
ticket आते हैं.
AWS?
It's not something, see, it depends upon the market. So Azure, you cannot say Azure is better than AWS. AWS still holds the first importance. So AWS is first one. But yes, there are some companies you can say, just like if you don't like Linux, if you are not proficient in Linux, although in the future, Azure people also have to engage in the Linux just to grow, because some servers are on Linux for most of the company. But yes, initially, if you don't know Linux, or if you don't like to learn the Linux, you don't have that command on the command line, then you can start your journey with the Azure, because Azure mostly demands the Windows server knowledge. So Linux is secondary there, but if you grow, just like if you are looking for 15 to 20 lakh of package, that time Linux is mandatory for every cloud, whether it is GCP, Azure, or AWS. If you look at the job in the GCP, suppose GCP jobs are very less in the market, but GCP peoples are also very less in the market. So it depends upon time to time. Like there was a craze of AWS. If you talk about 7 years back, people used to get job very easily. If they just do the AWS course, they used to get the job. But nowadays, companies are demanding a lot of things from everyone, whether they are Azure people, whether they are AWS people, because now the trend is DevOps. So DevOps is there in the market nowadays. So company now knows that, okay, we need a person who can manage the DevOps, some form of DevOps part, some form of scripting part, some form of server administration, and purely cloud administration. So they ask a lot of things from the candidate nowadays if they are offering the money. Just like in your case, nobody is going to hire you just to create the EC2 instances on the AWS portal. The recruiter will see, the manager will see that you should have the knowledge to manage the server as well. Because for server, suppose the server is on AWS portal, for server, they are not going to hire any separate server administrator. For AWS management, they are not going to hire any separate AWS administrator. So they look for the candidate who can manage the server, which is available on AWS, and they can also manage the AWS completely. So that's the job market. Like if you talk about me, if you talk about my role, so I am a specialist in multi-cloud, multi-tenancy model in the sense I work in most different cloud platform, just like Oracle OCI, Azure, AWS, and we started the project on GCP as well. Like 4 months back, we started a new project of GCP in my company. But I am not very much good in GCP. I am into learning stage. But in AWS and Azure, I am very good. Like I am certified till expert level. I am solution architect expert. Plus, I handle the Azure DevOps function. If you talk about DevOps, so I handle the Azure DevOps function, Azure DevOps project of my company. Then I work on the Docker and Kubernetes, that is cluster. So that's my role. And cluster is a different thing. Cluster is a part of orchestration. Docker is a part of orchestration. DevOps is again a different platform. Cloud is again a different platform. But once you grow, just like my package is very good. So once you grow, once you have that experience, so companies start looking for the candidate who can manage multiple things. So that's about me. Since I have the real exposure on different platform, that's why I'm getting paid. If I only know one technology, so that would be the scarcity kind of thing. Scarcity in the sense, suppose someone fired me from the job and I am only expert in AWS, someone fired me. So that would be very difficult for me to get the job in the package of 25 lakh rupees. That is difficult because the job is there, but the high package jobs are very limited. So if you have multiple technology knowledge, then it would be very easy for you to get the job. If you don't get the job in AWS, you will get the job in cluster, Docker and Kubernetes. So that's the thing. So as per the market, you will have to adopt yourself. because you cannot stick with only one technology at a time. You will have to change, you will have to grow yourself. Now, earlier days, there used to be arena of CCNA. CCNA and CCNP was very booming in 2012, 13, 14. People used to become the network engineer, but now there is no importance of CCNA NP people. Even I used to work as a trainer of CCNA NP and CCSA SP. I started my journey as a corporate trainer. I used to work with the HCL CDC. There used to be HCL CDC, HCL Career Development Center in 2012, 13 and 14. And Tech Mahindra also used to have their own institution. So I used to work there as a corporate trainer. I used to train the company employees. So my first job was in Convergys as a Windows Server administrator. That was the actually international voice process. That was international voice process that time in 2013. I started my journey with the company. So that was the BPO actually that time. And I was undergraduate. I was in my first year. So I picked that job. I worked there with the US and Canada project. So there used to be a chat support profile that time. So server support that time used to be there, but nowadays it is not there in the market. There used to be chat support that time. So I learned a lot. I spent almost 6 months there only. Then I changed my job. Then I went into the pure technical like Windows Server administration. Then I started with the Windows Server administration. So I don't used to work on the chat support that time. So you will have to grow yourself. Now you have the good platform because you have that kind of trainer that can give you, just like if you talk about me, so I'm really working in the industry, so I would be able to clarify your doubt. I would be able to give you a path. So that's something you will get a good opportunity, like you know that what you have to do in the market. But in our days, these kind of things were not available. But yes, the job was very easy to get. If you talk about those days, so the job was very easy to get if you have got good English that time. So the BPO, the international BPOs were offering 23,000 rupees in the starting that time. But now again, it is very difficult to get the job. So you should have the right technology along with the experience in order to get the job. So better, that's the reason. See, just improve your Linux skills. Linux is very important for anyone. For every profile, Linux is very important. It is not something that it is only relevant for AWS. Whatever cloud job you are doing, whatever server administration job you will be doing, Linux holds very high importance. So if you want to grow in future, just make yourself proficient in the Linux. It can happen gradually. You will not learn the Linux in 1 month or 2 months. You will have to practice it. You will have to master it. So time to time you will do it and you will become the master. That's a very easy thing. Just like in Windows, you mastered it in few years. So Linux is also going to take some time. But yes, now I will give you the content so you know that, okay, how to operate the Linux. These kind of servers will be there in Linux, but you will have to do the practice with your own. Because I am good in Linux, I do it. But if you will not do the practical, so that is going to create the chaos for you. So any other questions?
Sir, is there any security course that we can take up after the AWS?
Security.
Yeah, like security team, SOC team.
Okay. See, if you are interested in security in future, then you can go for AWS security. If you are planning into cloud, suppose you want to grow in cloud as a security consultant, as a SOC administrator, then you can pick the course of AWS security. In case you want to manage the complete security in the sense you want to handle the on-premises security as well, plus cloud security as well, then you have to do 2 courses. If you are in AWS administration profile, go with the AWS security course. Then after you can go with your what we can say CEH, certified ethical hacker. So after doing these 2 courses and these 2 certification, you would be able to manage the on-premises security as well as AWS security. And there is a growth. There is a high level of growth. But again, your Linux should be very strong in order to manage the security of company. You should have the knowledge of networking as well. So you should have the knowledge of networking. You should have the knowledge of at least one of the programming language, just for a scripting framework.
Yeah, Java is enough for that, right?
Yes, any language, anything.
Okay,
At
sir.
least you should know like the structure of programming. That's it.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
सर
So you can
क्लाउड
pick any
में
language.
डेटा रोल्स भी है ना सर?
Data roles?
मतलब सर क्लाउड में अगर मतलब क्लाउड के अंदर से डेटा रोल्स भी है, क्लाउड डेटा इंजीनियर,
Yes,
something
database
like that.
administrator. Yes. Cloud database engineer, cloud database administrator. So these people manage the Maria, MongoDB, PostgreSQL, these kind of servers they manage, and they are purely from the database administration background. So that's not for you. That's for the people who are working as a on-prem database
No
administrator,
sir,
like
not
they are
database. Sir, I'm
data
talking about,
engineer you
yes,
are
sir,
asking.
yes, sir, yes,
Okay,
sir,
okay,
big
yeah,
data.
yeah. Data engineer is also there. That's a data science role actually.
Yes, sir.
That's
Okay, sir.
also there in Azure as well. Azure Data Engineer, Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Artifact, and it's also there in AWS. So these people work on calculus actually. These people works on mathematical modeling.
So in future, if I wish to move in these job roles, so after cloud, like, is it possible to move?
It's not possible actually. What's your graduation background?
Sir, BTech, I have done mechanical engineering.
You have done mechanical engineering. Okay,
Yes.
so you don't have programming knowledge then, right?
So actually, I have done programming.
Okay.
I know little bit of front end also,
Okay, okay.
like
Got it.
HTML, CSS, and JavaScript also.
Mhm. See,
I have done I have also made 1 or 2 projects, like Flipkart clone I have made. I have
okay.
uploaded on GitHub. If you wish, I can share the link.
That's good. See, to get into data science, actually, this experience will not be counted. You will have to start with the scratch, but you can do one thing. If you know about the data science algorithm, data structures, you are good in mathematics, you are good in Excel, then you can parallelly apply for the jobs, because again, that field is also in boom. So if you have the knowledge, you will get the job. So you don't have to even go for other job as well. Just apply from now. From now on, you can apply. If you have that level of basic fundamental knowledge, you can start applying in the market. So you will get the initial level of startups, like you will get L1 level of positions that time.
Okay.
Okay, that's something you can get. But yes, after spending your 5 year, 7 year in the cloud job, and if you are thinking that I should move to the data science role, that would be difficult, because this experience will not be counted. That's a complete different field. Like, these people work on the data modeling. These people
Yes,
are the analyst kind of people. So they are mostly into business administration.
sir, in cloud, in long term, what is the career options we will have?
See, if you don't want to go into DevOps, suppose you don't want to go into DevOps, you only want to be in the cloud administration role. So the final role will be your cloud solution architect, or you can say AWS solution architect. So on that particular position, what you will be doing, suppose you are the cloud architect in a company. Now that company will be having the project of different organization. Just like suppose I work in TCS. Now TCS will have the outsourcing project with different company. Just like Accenture comes to TCS and says that we want to migrate our infrastructure on cloud, on AWS. So that time the solution architect of TCS is going to create the HLD. HLD means high level diagram, that this is the current structure of your company, Accenture. You want to migrate to the cloud. So this is how you can do it. This is the timeline. This is the complications. This is the limitation. This is the pricing model. So everything has to be presented by the solution architect. Once it is presented, once it is approved by other company, then the transitioning process will be started. Transitioning means migration. So cloud solution architect will help to migrate the complete infrastructure on the AWS or whatever cloud company wants. So they will migrate it with their team. There will be team members. There will be cloud engineers who will work under the guideline of solution architect. So once that is completed, once all the migration activity is completed, then cloud solution architect will be responsible for setting up the monitoring, setting up the deployment, setting up the backend database. So everything will be set up by the architect. Once it is done, then if any issue comes, in the cloud platform, then you people will be managing that issue. If any high level issue comes, like if any L4, L5 level issue comes, then it will go to the architect. So architect is like, you can say, chief engineer, the very senior person. And the salary, the maximum salary of architect, if you are a good communicator, if you have good communication skills, if you have good presentation skills, and if you have the good experience on, if you have the holding on cloud, then the maximum salary you can expect is 55 lakh per annum. But it requires a lot of knowledge. It's not something that you are expert in cloud. You should have the understanding of networking as well. You should have the understanding of Linux as well. You should have the understanding of automation and scripting as well. You should have the excellent understanding of cloud as well. Then you can become the architect, and your communication should be also good. It's not something that you cannot speak in English. English becomes very important that time. So that's the solution architect level. That's the last level of this cloud kind of profile. But if you are planning to switch to the DevOps in future, suppose you want to become a DevOps engineer, then that's a different path. What you can do, in order to go to the DevOps, you should have the cloud experience. Any cloud, suppose you are working on AWS, so you will move your gears from AWS to DevOps. Now you will have to learn the DevOps tools, whatever is preferred in the market. Just like Git, if you talk about AWS, Git, GitHub, TeamCity, CloudFormation, monitoring tools, Ansible, Terraform, Docker, Kubernetes. If you learn this tool along with the good command on Linux, then you can start into DevOps. In DevOps, you will work with the developer. You will work with the software developer of the company. So they will write the code, they will develop the software. Now they will give it to you. Now it's your job. Suppose software developer develop the application, they develop one of the software, they will give it to you. Now it's your job to launch it to the production servers. So suppose there is a big company and that company have 3000 server. So now you are the DevOps engineer. It's your job to run that particular application on all the servers. Now, since there are 3000 server, so for 3000 server, you are not going to do it manually. So you will have to launch the automation. So that you can just create a script, you can create the pipeline. Through that pipeline, that software will be launched on 3000 server. That's the job of DevOps engineer actually. So they work with the developer, they work with the software developers, and they are into automation purely. And the future is again very tremendous. That's very high growth profile. In DevOps, finally, you can become the DevOps consultant, DevOps leader, the platform leader of DevOps. And the salary is again, it's 55 plus. If you are a good DevOps engineer, very good. For normal DevOps engineer, it's like 8 lakh, 9 lakh, 10 lakh for mid-level guys who work on L1 profile. But if you are a very good DevOps engineer along with the experience, then the package is very big. Solution architect package is also big because they have a lot of responsibility. That is a challenging job. Just like you are migrating the complete infrastructure of the company, so you are the key player in that. If anything fails, then you will be targeted. DevOps is also one of the high profile and high growth career field because you are responsible for deploying the software kind of stuff. So if anything fails, if any production gets down, then again you would be responsible. So in this kind of job, the money is very good. In data science also, the money is very good. There is a huge package, 30 lakh rupees, 40 lakh rupees for the experienced professionals. But again, it requires experience. It requires real knowledge. So it's not something that you will do the course on DevOps and cloud and you will get the job of 20 lakh rupees. That's not true. Even you will not be able to get the job of 1 lakh rupees after doing the courses. So it comes with the real experience along with the course. So once you go to the cloud, then you can gradually learn this kind of technology certification. Then you can apply for the job. You would be able to relate it in real time basis. Then you will get the high package. So package is there, but you should have the exposure actually. You should have the real exposure. Just like in training, what we do, we just do the things. We just come up with a topic, we do that topic, that's it. But in the real scenario, you will face the issues, you will face the challenges. So that time you will have to be in the troubleshooting. So that time you will learn the real thing. Or since we have customized this program, I have created this program actually, this the content I have included in the program because I know what is happening in the industry. That's why. Otherwise, if you talk about the normal coaching institutions and any training institution, they are just stick with the global certification syllabus. So that's not enough. That's good for those people who are already working on this field. Suppose there is a person who is working on cloud. Now, if that person wants to get an expert knowledge, so they can go with the AWS course from any institute because they are already working. So they would be able to understand in a good manner. But for you guys who does not have any experience, you don't know about anything in the cloud, you are just starting your job. So there should be a program that will help you to get the job in the open market. So that's something. So there will be 2 career options for you. If you want to stick in the technology, the final option is cloud solution architect. If you are good in English, if you are good in presentation, then cloud solution architect is good. If you are not good in English, if your presentation is not so good, then still if you want to earn a lot of money in the sense 30 lakh, 40 lakh rupees in the future, then you can switch to DevOps. But if you only want to stick in 20 lakh rupees of package, 15 lakh rupees of package, then you can pick anything. Cloud will offer you that job. DevOps is also going to offer you that job. But if you are looking for very rich lifestyle in future, then again, these 2 are the high-end fields, high-end jobs, cloud solution architect or DevOps lead. But for this, the English should be good. For DevOps, English is not very high level of requirement, but yes, you should be in a position to communicate because you will be coordinating with the developer for the success of the software execution. So you will be coordinating. So English should be good, not required to be excellent, but yes, for the cloud solution architect level of job, you will be communicating with the technology director, the VP of technology. So that time the communication should be excellent. So that's up to you. Once you will go to the company, your interest will get developed that what you have to do, what you should do. So you would be able to understand the figures. You would be able to develop your interest that, okay, I'm interested in this field, so I should plan for it. Understood? Just like if you talk about my profile, so I handle the clusters along with cloud. I handle the clusters. Docker and Kubernetes is my expert area. So I don't manage the complete DevOps. I manage the specialized part of DevOps, which is orchestration, Kubernetes and Docker. So that's something you can also pick up. If you don't want to be in entire DevOps profile, you can pick one of the trending technology. Just like containerization is very trending in the market nowadays. That is very hard even. It is very hard to set up. It is very difficult and the money is very good because that's very difficult. So the money is very good. So you can pick one technology also in future. You can become the expert in that. That's also possible. Okay.
So how to switch from AWS to DevOps? I mean, AWS experience is considered for DevOps or not?
Yes. In order to go to DevOps, you should have the cloud experience, any cloud experience. So AWS experience will be considered. Desktop experience will not be considered. Cloud experience is required. If you have the cloud experience, then only you can switch to DevOps. Otherwise, no.
So DevOps is like I made one website and I need to deploy in the client location. So that is a kind of DevOps I understand. So it is this DevOps is similar to that or that is
No,
different?
no. That's not the DevOps actually. DevOps means continuous integration, continuous deployment, means whatever developer is doing, you will help them in optimizing. If you are a senior DevOps consultant of a company, so you will be helping the developer to write a good structure code as well. Good structure code means they will write the code and your responsibility will be to optimize that code. Like whether the application which is developing with that code is going to work on the server in a good speed, in a low latency or not. So code optimization is also the task of senior DevOps engineer. Like the person who is getting paid more than 30 lakh rupees, more than 25 lakh rupees, these people also optimize the code. They check the code platform that whether it is good for server or not, whether we should discard it or not. So DevOps is not about just you are launching the thing. It's all about automation. Automation means you are easing the thing for the company. Just like earlier days, there used to be the manual server for patching in the sense update. So you have 5,000 system in company. So there used to be WSUS server, there used to be SCCM server. Still there used to be a lot of issues. But nowadays, DevOps is there. So through DevOps, you can integrate the Ansible pipeline, you can integrate the Puppet or Chef, and through one launch, you can update each and every system. If any issue comes, you don't need to go to that system. You can just check your pipeline and you can fix it from the server itself. So that's all about DevOps. So DevOps is all about automation. Means you will not be touching the mouse. You will be working on the command line only. So that's not something that the website is getting launched on the platform. That's not the job of DevOps people. That is the job of admin guys. But if you have to do multiple tasks at the same time, so in order to minimize the time, you will do the automation, and automation is the task of the DevOps engineer. Just like suppose, let me give you one of the example. Suppose company is doing some testing. Just like take an example that Facebook has created some software and they are doing some testing internally, because before launching any software, testing will happen. So they are doing the testing. In order to do the testing, they have to launch that software on the server, right? That's the thing. Now, once the servers are created for internal testing is done. Now what we have to do, we don't require those servers actually. So we will destroy that. We have to destroy that. Once it is destroyed, again after 2 months, a new project is coming. We have created a new application and we want to test internally. Then we have to launch it on the servers. That's again our new job. So again, we have to create that platform. Again, we have to create the servers. We will launch the application. We will do the needful. That's a time consuming process. So what the DevOps people will do, they had created the script in early phase. So once the server will get destroyed after the completion of testing, they will not destroy that code. They will keep that script handy. In future, after 2 months, after 5 months, if the same server has to be launched for testing purpose, they will use the same script and same server will get created in few minutes. So that's one of the example of DevOps kind of job. So through Terraform, this kind of things can be achieved. So DevOps is a very diverse role. There are different kind of thing. Just like Git is one of the example that developer is writing the code. They are pushing it on the GitHub. That's not the DevOps engineer job. That's the job of developer. DevOps engineer jobs is to run the automation. Once the task of the developer is completed, then the task of DevOps engineer will get started. And the senior DevOps engineer helps the developer to optimize the code as well. Like once they write the code, the DevOps engineer is going to run it on the Jenkins. Jenkins is one of the tool that is Java based, JSON based. So the code will be optimized in the Jenkins tool. It is going to tell the DevOps engineer that whether the code is good, healthy or not. If it is good, what is the latency? If we will create the software out of it, so is it going to be slow or good in terms of speed? what can be the defects in this code. So these all things will be checked by the code optimizer through Jenkins. So again, this is the job of senior DevOps engineer. So that's a very diverse role. They also manage the container. Container is a very big thing. Clusters, cluster of servers, cluster of Dockers through Kubernetes. So that's a very big task. Like suppose 3000 servers are running on a cluster. If any cluster goes down, if any group goes down, so 3000 servers will be impacted. So these DevOps people, if they are managing the Kubernetes, there is a different role. There is a different level in DevOps. If the DevOps engineer is managing the Kubernetes, then they will be managing the cluster part as well. And Kubernetes can also be managed by the solution architect, because that's a very senior profile. So if the Kubernetes is being managed by the cloud solution architect, then DevOps team will not be managing it, because that's a technology altogether. Kubernetes is a containerization technology. That's the part of DevOps as well. That's the part of cloud as well. So it's a very diverse field. I will take a session on this. I will, once your cloud will be completed, once your AWS will be completed. So I will arrange one of the webinar kind of thing with lots of candidate. Then I will clarify the fundamental of DevOps, like what DevOps is actually, so that you would develop your understanding on that. Okay.
Sir, rotational shift इसमें रहेगी cloud में.
सब में ही है, पूरी आईटी में. आई ऑल्सो डू द रोटेशनल शिफ्ट. पूरी आईटी इंडस्ट्री में यही हाल है.
अच्छा, एक चीज और पूछनी थी सर. आपने जैसे अभी बताया कि आपने एक जॉब 6 महीने में स्विच करी, तो वहां
दैट
पे
वाज माय स्टार्टिंग जॉब.
नहीं, तो उसमें मतलब स्विच करने का क्या प्रोसेस रहता है? 2 महीने का आपने नोटिस पीरियड सर्व किया था वहां पे, या मतलब क्या?
At that time, it was not 2 months of notice period. It was 1 month of notice period, and company released me within 15 days. Earlier days, there was not problem. Like in 2013, 14 kind of days, there used to be 1 month of notice period in most of the company. Nowadays, because the candidates are switching very frequently, they are getting the offer in IT. That's the reason company have just increased the notice period by 2 months. Even currently, I have 3 months of notice period in my current company. So
Sir.
this is happening since 3 to 4 years, since last 3 to 4 years. In earlier days, this was not the problem. It only used to be 1 month of notice period.
But
This is
actually,
happening because of the project actually. Suppose you are working on a project that's very critical project, and if your notice period will be of 1 month, so you will leave the job within 1 month. So company are not in a position to find the replacement, because nowadays people have a lot of option. If you know a lot of thing, you have one option in hand. You have the time of 3 months as a notice period. You will get another option from a different company with a good package. So that's the practice nowadays. That's the reason company have increased their notice period by 3 months or 2 months. Even some company have 6 months of notice period as well. In Airtel it is.
अच्छा सर, एक्चुअली जैसे प्रोबेशन भी डाला हुआ है कि 6 महीने का या 10 महीने का प्रोबेशन पीरियड, और 2 महीने का नोटिस पीरियड भी दिया हुआ है कि 2 महीने का नोटिस पीरियड भी सर्व करना है आपको, और जो प्रोबेशन पीरियड है वो भी मतलब 11 महीने का है. तो प्रोबेशन में तो ऐसा होता है ना कि मतलब कंपनी वाले भी निकाल सकती है, एम्प्लॉय भी छोड़ सकता है, लेकिन उसमें एक्चुअली ऑफर लेटर में लिखा हुआ है 2 महीने का नोटिस पीरियड. तो
there may be clause. See, in provision, what happens in most of the company, in provision period, the notice period would be of 1 month in most of the company. If you are on probation, it would be of 1 month. And if company fires you, they will give you 1 month of salary in advance, and they will fire you. In case you want to leave the job in the probation period, you can also leave. Your salary will be on hold. You will have to pay that salary in order to get your experience letter. That's the thing. If company has mentioned that you will have to follow the 2 months of notice period during the probation, then you will have to do it, because that's company clause. If they have mentioned it on the offer letter and you have acknowledged that, then you will have to follow that. But yes, read it carefully, read it thoroughly. There may be the option of payment as well. Like you can give the payment and you can leave the organization.
सर
प्रोबेशन में सर एक्सपीरियंस लेटर देंगे वो, जैसे मान लो
Yes, yes, देते हैं.
अच्छा, तो 6 महीने का तो कम से कम बनता ही है ना वैसे?
मिनिमम 6 महीने के बाद मिलना शुरू हो जाता है. See, Now it was in earlier days. Nowadays, if you work in a company for 1 month as well, you will get the experience letter.
अच्छा
After
तो
1 month also, you will get the experience letter.
तो रिलीविंग लेटर को एक्सपीरियंस लेटर में काउंट कर सकते हैं या फिर उसके लिए अलग ही वो
Relieving letter is the experience letter.
अच्छा वही एक्सपीरियंस
Yes,
लेटर है
it will be mentioned as relieving cum experience letter.
अच्छा
So if company is relieving you from the organization in a clear cut, it means that's the experience letter. You can use that to show as an experience reference. Company only provide relieving letter. That's not the experience letter actually. That's the relieving letter with full and final settlement. FNF sheet. Yes, Akash.
सर क्लाउड इंजीनियर आफ्टर द क्लाउड सर कब स्विच कर सकते हैं डेवऑप्स पे? मतलब सर 2 साल 1 साल कितने
No,
years
no,
हो
don't have to spend this much time. If you have really
Okay.
made your mind that in future you want to be in DevOps, just
Yeah,
start
yes.
the job in cloud,
Okay, sir.
and after 6 months, just try for the DevOps.
Okay,
If
sir.
company gives you the internal opportunity, because
Okay.
if any company is having the project on cloud, then definitely 100% with 100% guarantee, they are also having the project on DevOps, because cloud and DevOps works in together. They works integratedly. So
Okay,
you
sir.
can check with your company as well. If you learn the skills, if you have the good relationship with your manager, they will let you know. Otherwise, you can apply in some other companies. After 6 months, you will have the fundamental understanding how cloud works in the company, what is your job responsibility, what you are doing in the company. Then you can apply for the DevOps role. That's up
Okay,
to
sir.
you. If you feel
Okay.
that you have not learned that much thing, then you can spend 1 year.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
But if your learning skills are good, then you can change it after 6 months as well.
डेवऑप्स के लिए हमें अलग से कोई कोर्स करना पड़ेगा
Yes,
2-3
yes. For DevOps, you will have to do the different courses.
करना
And
पड़ेगा
the basic requirement is, in order to go to the DevOps, you should have Linux knowledge. You should have any one cloud knowledge. Just like if you will be working on AWS, so you should have AWS knowledge. That's the core requirement. Then you should have the understanding of networking, basic networking like IP address, addressing, OSI model, protocols. This kind of things you should have the knowledge about. Then you can apply for the, then you can do the courses on DevOps.
नहीं डेवऑप्स के लिए नेटवर्किंग का भी नॉलेज होना चाहिए
सब चीज के लिए नेटवर्किंग की नॉलेज चाहिए. Because if you are deploying any software or any web application, so in the backend there are some ports. You will allow the port, whether it should work on HTTP, whether it should work on 1433. So if you don't have the knowledge about it, then how will you do it? You should, if you don't have the knowledge how the routing works, if you don't know how the route works, how the net translation works, then how you are going to launch the application on the real production platform? How the user will access it? Because user access the software or the web application through the URL, and URL is working on the network. Okay, so networking is required everywhere. It's not about CCNA. CCNA is not required. Basic knowledge of networking like protocol understanding, IP addressing understanding. This is something you should have.
हाँ मतलब बेसिक नॉलेज होना चाहिए
Yes, subnetting, what is subnetting, how to calculate the subnet, that's knowledge you should have. So you can easily get it from the YouTube. Just go and search fundamentals of networking. There will be N+ videos you can watch. It's very easy. It will hardly take 12 or 13 hours to get it completed from zero level.
सर डेवऑप्स और क्यूबरनेटी और कंटेनर सर ये दोनों चीज अलग अलग दो अलग प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं कि सर एक ही पे जाते हैं आगे?
Kubernetes container is a different platform, but that's the part of DevOps.
Okay, sir.
If you don't want to become the complete DevOps engineer, complete DevOps engineer works on different scales.
Okay, sir.
But if you only want to handle the clusters of server in company, you don't want to do rest of the task, you don't want to do automation, you don't want to deploy the applications on multiple server through scripting, you only want to handle the containerization, then
Okay,
you
sir.
can also go with these special profiles. These are called specialist profiles.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
सर मेनली ऑटोमेशन नाउ डेज बूम कर रहा है सर, ऑटोमेशन ही ज्यादा वो कर रहा है.
Automation
पे?
is required. Automation ही है, अभी automation का ही जमाना है.
Okay, sir.
And automation becomes very easy if you have the knowledge. Then it becomes easy. Otherwise, it's very tough. But जिन्होंने the script लिख ली है ना, so it is not tough for those people. They will be familiar with the scripting. Now again, it depends. Some scripting requires the hardcore programming knowledge. Like if you are doing it on the JavaScript, it requires hardcore programming knowledge. But if you are doing it on the Terraform, on the Ansible, you don't require any programming background. You can easily do it because that's a human readable code format. That's
Yes.
called declarative syntax. Declarative syntax means you are declaring the things in the English language. There are some parameters that you have to follow. That's it. But if you
Okay.
are writing something in the JavaScript, in the Python script, then you should have the knowledge of programming. So for Terraform, the programming knowledge is not required. For Ansible, it is not required. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So since I could not get the code, so we can wrap up this session. I will schedule it for tomorrow for the same time, 8 p.m. Then we can cover our user permission. We have to start with the user account, user permissions, and we will have to finish it by tomorrow only. So that from next weekend, we can start a new topic. We will start the logs from next weekend. So let's do it tomorrow then.
Okay, sir.
So I will share the recording of it by tomorrow only. That's not a recording actually, that was the general discussion. We could not do anything today because of this problem. Still, it's disabled. Okay.
Yes, sir, but please share us because we have a lot of
Yeah, I
information
will share
today.
the recording. Don't worry. And so let's connect tomorrow then. I will schedule it once I will get the code. I will schedule it on the portal. So you will get the links through the CRM. Then we can connect tomorrow and start our topic. I will
Sir,
check with the admin team if it can be fixed.
Sir, we
Okay.
will get experience after completing this course. Like
What
as we have
experience?
got in. Sir, जैसे कि डेस्कटॉप सपोर्ट का कोर्स करने के बाद इन्होंने कुछ एक्सपीरियंस दिया था.
Maybe if the company demands, then
Okay.
maybe that will be arranged.
And sir, what will be the salary expectation after?
It depends again. So again, you can discuss with the admin regarding this because I will not be able to give you the clear picture on this part because they are managing the placement part and I don't have that much coordination with the backend team of Evision.
No, sir. On like in this job profile, on an average, there must
On
be
an
some salary
average,
range.
on initial level in NCR, you can expect it between 4 to 6. Or if you have the prior salary, then you can expect more than that. You will be getting the more salary on your previous one. But if your salary is very less, then it can be between 4 to 6 in starting. If you are already earning 5 lakh rupees, suppose, then you can expect 7.5 something. Okay.
Okay. Sir, just last question. सर जैसे कि डेस्कटॉप सपोर्ट में मतलब एंड यूजर के टिकट होता है और काफी ज्यादा होता है वो मतलब तो ऐसा इसमें क्लाउड में मतलब इतना ज्यादा वर्कलोड तो नहीं होता होगा ना.
वर्कलोड होता है.
नंबर ऑफ
नहीं डिपेंड करता है कि आप किस कंपनी में हो एंड व्हाट इज द प्रोजेक्ट एंड व्हाट इज योर सैलरी. The salary is going to determine your workload here. If you are earning very good salary, then there will be huge workload. If you are earning a mid cap of salary and if you are working in a big organization, very big organization, then the work will be less. If you are working in middle level organization or the startups, then there will be huge work.
सर मिनिमम कितने टिकट्स होते होंगे पर डे के?
Depend, like suppose in my organization we have the projects from around 40 companies, 40 different companies we are supporting on cloud and DevOps. So on cloud we get around on per day. On cloud, suppose we are getting around 40 to 50 tickets on per day, but not a single engineer. We have the team, so it is getting distributed with the team members. So a single team member is getting around 4 to 5 tickets on cloud issues per day. Sometime it is 0 as well. Just like on Friday, we rarely get any work. On Monday, we rarely get any work.
सर अभी तो 40 to 45 टिकट सॉल्व करने पड़ते पर डे।
एक बंदे को,
हाँ
because end user have a lot of issue. Even they will not be able to click somewhere, they will raise the ticket.
या
That I am not able to open this file. They don't even bother to restart the system.
यस सर।
सर ये क्वेश्चन इसलिए पूछा था क्योंकि मतलब इसमें एंड यूजर में क्या होता है कि लगातार काम आता है, मतलब टिकट पे टिकट टिकट पे टिकट ऐसे वाला सिस्टम है, तो क्लाउड में थोड़ा सा टाइम तो मिलता होगा ना।
क्लाउड में इतना नहीं होता यार, जैसे इनमें आता है ना एंड यूजर में, इतना नहीं होता,
ओके।
क्योंकि सर्वर आउटेज कितनी होती होगी।
हाँ ये तो है।
प्रोजेक्ट बहुत सारा है कंपनी के पास, तब तो टिकट ज्यादा आ भी जाती है, वरना तुम बड़ी कंपनी में एग्जांपल ले लो, टीसीएस में ले लो। टीसीएस में माय फ्रेंड यूज्ड टू वर्क देयर, सो ऑन पर वीक, लाइक एवरी वीक ही यूज्ड टू वर्क ऑन 3 टिकट्स एवरी वीक एज ए क्लाउड इंजीनियर। तो ऐसा
That
भी
is
होता
very
है,
less.
ऐसा भी होता है।
सर टिकट का भी एक टाइम मतलब एसएलए वगैरह होता होगा, तो उसी टाइम
यस,
पीरियड में
एसएलए
करना रहता
एसएलए
होगा।
होता है, यस एसएलए विल बी
सर
देयर।
एंड यूजर में ऑन द स्पॉट देना पड़ता है रेजोल्यूशन।
अगेन डिपेंड्स, इफ दैट्स ए P1 केस, तब तो वहां पे भी अर्जेंसी स्टार्ट हो जाती है। P1 में तो सर्वर डाउन है पूरा,
यस।
so depend. अभी टेंशन मत लो, once you will work you will get familiar, but yet yes, that's not a hectic kind of job than your desktop engineering profile. ऐसा नहीं होगा वहां जा जाके सपोर्ट करना, ये सब काम नहीं होने वाला अब।
सर रिमोट सेशन पे भी नहीं जाना होता होगा।
मीटिंग में जाना पड़ सकता है if they have the different project. Suppose your client is available in Canada and that engineer is facing the issue on the server, then you can go with the meeting, with the teams meeting or with that particular client. Otherwise no, otherwise portal से ही fix हो जाता है। Most of the issues will be handled from the back end. If something requires to be like face to face coordination is required, you want to collect some information and that engineer is not able to provide you, or you want to check something on his particular server access level, then meeting happens. Otherwise no, most of the work will be handled from the portal only. Okay, so let's wrap up the session. Let's connect tomorrow. Tomorrow we will complete this particular topic, the user permissions and user creation. I cannot do it, even we could not do it because of the technical issue today, but they will fix it because they have created the ticket with that their Zoom team, so they will fix it. Okay, so let's connect tomorrow then. Let's wrap up this session. Thank you very much for your time. Good night. And fees का देख लेना, you can discuss with the admin team regarding the fee. Whatever is your problem, whatever is the discussion, you can have with them. They just asked me to inform you guys that classes may be on hold. So check कर लेना, जो भी है बात कर लेना उन लोगों से, ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
ओके सर,
Okay,
थैंक यू।
bye. Good
Thank you,
night.
sir.
बाय बाय सर, थैंक यू।
Thank you, sir.
और भाई कहाँ से हो तुम लोग? हेलो।
बोलो भाई।
कहाँ से हो तुम लोग यार? अभी ड्रॉप मत करना मीटिंग।
मैं वेस्ट बंगाल से हूँ।
अच्छा अच्छा, अभी कहाँ पर काम कर रहे हो?
मैं कैपजेमिनी हूँ, कैपजेमिनी।
अच्छा, कैपजेमिनी थर्ड पार्टी पे।
हाँ थर्ड बेटी। तुम कहाँ से हो?
नहीं प्रयागराज से।
प्रयागराज, यूपी।
हाँ यूपी।
कहाँ पे काम कर रहे हो अभी?
अभी अमेरिकन एक्सप्रेस में।
अच्छा अच्छा भाई।
चलो भाई ठीक है, गुड नाइट।
ठीक है, गुड नाइट बाय।